Okay, so if we could just, let's work our way around the room and share the ideas that you came up with around what it looks like when a teacher is successfully implementing these questions and what we might see if it is not going so well for a teacher in the classroom. So if you guys don't mind, if I could start here with you guys.
Sure.
And then we'll work our way around the room this way.
All right, so go ahead.
Yes, please.
All right, so good things that we would see would be students use an accountable talk, use of academic vocabulary, essential question is posted, clear lesson objective, group discussion and debate, student engagement. Little student response, no back and forth dialogue between student and teacher, closed questions, no student engagement, students unclear about the objective or the essential question.
Great. Any questions for this group about the stuff that they came up with? All right, thank you. Okay, so if you guys want to go, and you can, if you can just kind of, as you're going through, you don't have to reiterate the same things that they did, but maybe just kind of add to our list of the good and the bad. Yeah.
Oh, I'll share. For the good things that we're looking for, we want students talking and using accountable talk, which includes active listening. We want the children to have relevant justification and support for what they're saying. Not having a correct answer is okay, and that's accepted. All children are engaged with 100% engagement. The question that they're focusing on is posted in the room so that the focus is clear. And the teacher is facilitating and not dictating.
Mm.
And then for the things we don't want crickets. The children should not be just sitting there quiet. We don't want right and wrong answers. We don't just want knowledge-based questions, isn't that correct? Okay.
Good.
And then no clear focus is posted. No clear focus or posted questions. So the focus of the lesson is not clear in the front of the room,
Mm-hmm.
and then no relation between the question and the answers.
Okay, great. Any questions for that group? Some of the things they had listed. Okay, thank you. You guys in the back?
For what we were looking for in a classroom, I believe that student engagement should be around thinking, or our group thought that anyway. Active participants with evidence-based upon justifications, what's going on. We've already talked about talk. Rich discussion focused on further inquiry. We were discussing that maybe questions answered other questions.
Good.
And then students demonstrating an increased motivation in their own learning. Number one was already shared, and so number two, teacher-driven with minimal student discussions are things that we're not looking for in classroom, obviously. And also, information is departmentalized, where students lack those meaningful connections between their content areas.
Great, great. Any questions for that group? Or anything anybody would want to add? All right, thank you. You guys?
So Blair, you were right. We have a hard time writing on square paper. So that's why there's little angles. So anyway,
I just need you to know that square paper is like a dream for me. That's just very funny how people are different.
with it, you can tell.
I love it. It's great. That's great.
Figure it out. So, what we want to see is student conversations. Comments are connected in those conversations and build onto the thinking. The idea of a dialogic classroom. The teacher as facilitator. Students and teachers asking questions. A trusting environment where it's okay to be wrong. Room set up for collaboration and conversation. Room for the group to sit in a circle and the importance of that circle. On the other side, teacher talk dominates, IRE type questions, initiate, response, evaluate. The physical structure, rows, teacher holds and delivers knowledge, one way, teacher to student, teacher to student, teacher to student. Right, wrong answers, and hands raised or not.
Great. Seem like a pro all the way down to an acronym for IRE. That's great. Questions for them? Thank you. You guys?
Guess I'm it. For successful, we thought meaningful conversations, students are engaged, the questions are posted, kids are asking other questions, each other other questions, and teacher giving a directed question. So instead of giving, like if they're coming to asking you a question, you kind of give them a new question to kind of lead them a different direction. Not successful would be hearing kids say, I don't get it, the blank stares, conversations that are off topic, and then the teacher is giving them too much prompting.
Okay. Questions for them? All right, and then last but certainly not least, you guys.
Sure, let's see what we haven't hit already. We said that we should see productive group work with meaningful discussions and high student participation. So on the gradual release model, we're there for support and we're kind of bouncing around talking with groups, but it's very high student led. Things we don't want to see are off task, mostly teacher driven, that's not what we're going for. Low student engagement is not a good sign, and it shouldn't be quiet in there. I like what they said about crickets, so it's very cool.
Great. So there's a lot of commonalities, I think, as I was listening and watching you guys as you were kind of filling out your charts. And we're going to talk about this idea now. We're going to start with the good, and we're going to talk about what it takes for a teacher to actually be able to implement and have his or her room look as many of these groups decided. I had the opportunity for a couple of years in a row to listen to Dr. Ball from the University of Michigan. She's the Dean of Ed there. And she came to Grand Rapids and she taught some kids. I think actually the first year she was here, she taught some Kentwood kids. And if you have ever heard or listened to her talk about things, she says, being a teacher is actually very complicated work. Sometimes people think, well, you got your summers off, you're home at 3, and life is grand. It's so very easy to be a teacher. And she says, that being a good teacher takes a lot of work, and you know that. But it's kind of good that she's the one saying that because she's also on the educator effectiveness committee from the governor trying to figure out this crazy with what the observation tools are going to be for teachers moving forward as a state. That she has this view that it's complicated. The work that you guys do to get your classrooms to look like the good charts. So I want you to kind of be thinking about it. So I'm just going to give you guys a couple of seconds. Mark's really great at this, so I'm trying to learn from him, to kind of think about what does it take for a teacher to be able to do some of the things that you talked about in the lead up to a lesson, in the middle of the lesson, and at the end of a lesson, to really get that classroom of inquiry. And I just want you to take a couple of seconds to kind of think about it. If you want to commit your thoughts to paper, perfect, but I just want you to kind of think about it. In a little bit, we're going to watch a teacher. We're going to actually watch Dr. Ball. We're going to watch her teach some kids and to see what she does. But I just want you to kind of be processing through your heads about what it takes to do some of this work. And once you have kind of a vision in your head of the steps that a teacher might go through to get this successful classroom, you can take a look at pages 45 and 49 in the Essential Question book, and they kind of describe, there's a 4-step process and an 8-step process. And whether you want to get caught in the details of the 4-step or the 8-step, they kind of outline what they think it takes for a teacher to really be thoughtful and intentional about their work so that they can successfully implement these good questioning strategies in their classroom. So take a couple of minutes, read through those pages, and just talk with your elbow partner about what you read and your reaction to it. So I'm going to give you about 5 minutes for the reading part and the talking with your elbow partner, and then we're going to take a look at a teacher in action to see what we see.